Welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And what this is today is a very, very different build-up to what we'd be used to for this kind of game. Because yes, if you have forgotten, tomorrow Barcelona will be in action and we will be playing Atletico Madrid. That, on the face of it, a very, very difficult game, a massive test for this team. But it's all been overshadowed by this news about Quique Setien, this news about the squad, and indeed everything right now that is going on behind the scenes at Barcelona. And that's why in today's video, of course, we are going to talk about the upcoming game, but I think more so than the tactics, more so than the current form, anything like that, what will play the biggest part tomorrow out on that field is what's happening behind the scenes. What is the frame of mind right now of the players? Have they turned against Setien? And if they have, why has that happened? It's all coming up in today's video. We have so much to discuss. Get comfy. Because yes, Barcelona tomorrow will play Atletico Madrid at 10 PM local time from the Camp Nou. Here are the times right around the world, guys, so you can get involved if you so wish to in this one. Barcelona right now come into this game 2 points behind Real Madrid with 6 games to play in La Liga. And as you can see there, Atletico Madrid are back up in these Champions League places. They're back up to third now under Simeone, unbeaten since football's restart, and won their last 4 successive games. But like I say, aside from all of that stuff, right now, big focus on Quique Setien. Because just like we spoke about very late last night, we did a video there comparing Setien to Valverde and also speaking about the rumours that he would lose his job in the coming weeks. Well, those certainly continued this morning because Quique Setien now apparently is on the verge of being sacked as the Barcelona coach, either before the end of the La Liga season or after the Champions League in August. Because quite frankly, the reports coming out say that he's lost the dressing room. The key heavyweights, where have we heard that before, in the dressing room are against Setien, and for that reason, he could be on his way. Now, let me just first of all say this, because I'm going to be taking you step by step into exactly what is happening right now and exactly who's to blame for what is happening inside the club and also out on the field. Because let me just say, if you sack Setien either before the end of the season or when the season is over there, after he's had not even a full campaign to really assert himself on this squad, let me just say that you, as the Barcelona board, have failed the club. Because if you sack a coach there that you brought in, that you appointed, that you decided there to give the managerial role to, if you sack him without even giving him there a full season, you've got to take a look at yourself. That's nobody else's fault but your own. Bartomeu made the choice to sack Valverde to replace him with Setien, and by sacking him just months later, you have to point the finger firmly at yourself. Because regardless here of whether Quique Setien is going to be a success or a failure at Barcelona, the timing was dreadful. Whether you're Setien in, whether you're Setien out, doesn't matter what preference you have to admit the timing of all this, it was catastrophic. Because any president with a functioning brain could have seen that Valverde needed to be sacked for the good of the team at the end of last season. It was crying out there for a new start, for a new beginning. Valverde there, of course, the humiliation against Liverpool, but let's not forget either the Copa del Rey final loss. It was all there, perfectly poised to say, you know what, thanks Ernesto, but now it's time for change. And we could have had then an entire summer picking the right choice, and the coach could have had a full pre-season with the team. But no, there's the first mistake. There's the colossal mistake that you wait until mid-season of the current campaign, and then you think it's a good idea to go and sack the coach, and then you're scrambling around trying to find a replacement. And admittedly, Quique Setien was something there like the 4th choice that the board had. But again, due to your own planning, that's your own fault. It's your own fault there that you took until the middle of the season to actually decide, you know what, maybe we do make a change. And that's why the board, they are responsible. Everything that you see, every weakness that Barcelona have, you can draw some sort of route back to those running the club, because they are spineless. And ESPN, indeed, just like we said last night, they maintain that Barcelona are considering sacking Setien at the end of the season and replacing him with current Barcelona B coach GARCIA Pimienta. He could be the man to come in there and to lead Barcelona from this moment onwards. And that makes it even funnier. That makes it even more ridiculous. Because guess who was available in January? Guess who was somebody who actually was already at the club? He already knew pretty much how things worked. He could have come in the middle of the season and probably got to grips with things much quicker than Quique Setien could have. But no, GARCIA Pimienta was overlooked, and now a few months down the line, they're apparently considering him. It's ridiculous. Their thinking, I just don't understand it. Now, there's a lot of talk right now about Xavi Hernandez. Would he come in this summer? He didn't want to take the job in the middle of the season. Would he come in and actually take on the reins in August? That would be the question. I would personally hope no. And I don't think that he would, because I don't think Xavi wants to come here into this kind of mess, in this kind of situation, under the current board. I feel as though he's much more suited. It's much better for him to wait until 2021 to continue the work that he's been doing with Victor Font, with a clear project, with a clear aim, and then come in, start fresh from 2021. Don't come before that. Don't get involved in all of this nonsense right now. You don't want to be going down that road. And that's why right now it is very much open. If Setien is sacked, who will replace him? And it is worth noting as well that any coach that does come in at the end of the season, they once again can be placed in exactly the same situation that Setien was, because they will not have a pre-season with the team. So again, it's a lack of continuity. A new coach is going to come in because of the scheduling. You've got the Champions League in August. You've then got the new start of the season in La Liga in September. There's no room. There's no time to actually plan and get to know your players. It's just round and round. Same mistake over and over and over. And as you can see, in terms of Setien, in the biggest moments of our season, this is not the kind of preparation you want there going into a game against Atletico Madrid. Because let's not forget either, it's not just this. Going into a game of this magnitude, it takes enough out of you as it is, and we've already had all of this stuff going on with Arthur Melo, which now is official. And he didn't even want to come on. He didn't even actually go and want to warm up and actually get out of his training gear to come on against Celta Vigo. That's the kind of mindset that he's in right now. And now it's official. Why does he want to play? Why does he want to get involved here in the final end of the season when he's going off to Juve? Because he's been pushed and forced out of the door. It's genuinely ridiculous. And like I say, we've got Atletico Madrid tomorrow. We are playing a game against the third best team in this league. The board are tearing this season to pieces. But look, let me take you back. Let me just take you here for a trip down memory lane, because let me take you back 5 years. It's 2015. We just entered the new year with a 1-0 defeat at the Anoeta against David Moyes' Real Sociedad. Now, there's anger from the players, particularly there's so much anger being directed at Luis Enrique after he left both Messi and Neymar on the bench after they were given there an extended break over Christmas. They got back later than the others, and for that reason, they were left on the bench. And in the aftermath of that game against Sociedad, after that loss, all chaos broke out. There were rumours there of Luis Enrique getting the sack as the Barcelona coach. There was rumours of an actual bust-up there between Luis Enrique and Lionel Messi, with both men there saying either it's me or the other one has to go. And it seemed as though the squad had reached the point of no return with regards to the management. And there is a point to this story, because guess what the very next La Liga game was after that fallout after the Sociedad game? You guessed it. It was Atletico Madrid. At the Camp Nou, in which MSN were truly born, Barcelona won in emphatic fashion, and of course, the rest of that season, it went down in the history books, given the incredible treble that followed. Now, the point of this is, could something like that somehow happen again? Now, I'd never say never in football, because in football, anything, genuinely, what I've learned to expect is that anything can happen. And I'd love to see the players come out with that sort of fire and that sort of energy and actual desire to go out there and say, you know what, we can do it. We can perform, we can win trophies, and we're going to prove that to you. But for me, I think it's unlikely. I think it's really, really unlikely that in this day and age, we see that sort of reaction from these players. Because the key was, during that time there with Luis Enrique's, and the key to the turnaround in that season was all about compromise. Because Luis Enrique himself made some very subtle changes to his management style. He had to be more aware there of the players that he was coaching and the high-profile names in that dressing room. But also, it was on the players too to compromise as well. They had to make sacrifices in the way they were taking on there the instructions from the coaching staff, and they had to change too going into that second half of the season. And that's where, for me, this all falls down. Because I don't think these players are willing at this point to make any compromises. I don't think those players there have that kind of attitude anymore. And it hurts me to say it, because these are players that over the years we've absolutely idolised, and we still do. But it just seems to me that when the going gets tough, when things get difficult, when they've got problems to overcome, when they've got obstacles in their way, they just point the finger and they lie down and they accept defeat. We've seen that out on the field. And that's why right now for me, it seems that they have no interest whatsoever in taking on new instructions from Setien. Apparently, they don't understand the instructions they're being given. Now, do they not understand, or can they not be bothered to actually go out there and try and execute something? And especially there, when it comes to Edis Arabia, they absolutely hate being told what to do. They don't like being demanded a little bit more of them, and for that reason, they are very, very unhappy with the coaching staff. And certainly today, that's been further illustrated with all the reports that we've seen about player power, about the fact here, the hierarchy within that dressing room. They're trying to force out Quique Setien. The reports that have come out, they said the players are actually angry with the way that Arthur was treated by Setien. Imagine actually there directing anger towards the coach as opposed to the board when it comes to Arthur. The players apparently don't talk very much to Quique Setien. Apparently there's a disconnect between the players and the coaching staff. And get this one. Apparently, according to reports, players only gave their blessing. Now imagine that. They only gave their blessing to sack Valverde if Xavi was going to be appointed. And for that reason, they're not happy with Setien. And honestly, you just sit back and you think, how did we get here? How did those players in that dressing room there, the amount of money they're on, they're the best paid players in the world, how did they suddenly believe they've got all this authority? Especially when on the pitch, they've delivered recently very, very little. And suddenly, they think they can make all the decisions, they can run this club, and it's ridiculous. And you sit back and you honestly think, how did we get here? How did we get into this situation? And I'll tell you how. It all comes from the top. Because yes, I'm angry. I am absolutely raging with some of these players. I really, really am, and it does hurt. But I tell you what now, it starts from the top. The board have to take all of the responsibility, and I mean all of this responsibility, because they are weak. They show weak leadership, weak authority. They have no authority on those beneath them. And that transferred then to Ernesto Valverde. When he was in charge, he was also weak, and that all trickles down to the players. When you've got weak people above you, when you've got weak people in those management positions, the players, they'll take all of that responsibility, and they'll say, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this situation. I'm going to start throwing my weight around and basically running things the way that I want to. And in a successful club, in a big club like this, that is never, ever going to work. Can you imagine something like this happening somewhere else? Happening there at Bayern Munich, at Manchester City? No chance. Not a chance. It doesn't belong here. Player power should be as far away from this club as possible. But sadly, due to the board, due to their incompetence, and due to their weakness, this is where we've ended up. And tomorrow, against Atletico Madrid, at the Camp Nou, who knows what'll happen? So that there, guys, is some thoughts ahead of a massive game in our league season tomorrow. But like I say, the emphasis is anywhere but the pitch going into tomorrow's game. Please do let me know in the comments down below, what are you feeling right now? What are your reactions to some of the reports that have come out and that we are hearing from the media in Spain today? Let me know all of that stuff in the comments down below. And like I say, we're just going to have to wait and see. I have no idea what kind of performance, what kind of team, what the players are going to do out there tomorrow. And it's going to be fascinating. For good reasons, or for bad. I will see you then. Thanks for watching. But until next time, as always, Visca el Barça.